Hi and welcome to Bump Love. Previously we had discussions on how we are raising our children, and today we are joined with Hellen Grace Namulwana to just talk a bit more on this broad subject. She is the Executive Director of Amora Africa. She's a mother to one and she's a child rights and child protection expert. Welcome to the show, Hellen.
Thank you, Rosette.
So what does the term raising a child mean?
So raising a child, to sum it up, really means making sure you provide an environment for that child to grow to their fullest potential. And by that I mean that whatever needs to be provided should be provided. So if you're a person charged with the responsibility to raise a child, you need to be able to provide a good environment for them to grow. You need to be able to provide an environment that enables them to speak out. You need to be able to provide an environment where they can come to you to seek for guidance, for information. You need to be able to provide their needs, because that's a big part of it. But also you need to be able to be the mentor. Because whether we acknowledge it or not, whether we are aware of it or not, we are the first line of mentors that our children have. So whether we are intentional or not intentional about it, that is a fact. And that's why in child raising it's important that a parent or a caregiver or a guardian are very aware of what they do, what they say, how they carry themselves around their children, but also beyond. In our sector, we say that once you get children, or once you have children under your care, you cease to live for yourself. Because there's a crowd of people looking up to you and following in your footsteps.
For parents like me who are just excited to have kids and didn't understand
Yes.
what really goes into raising a child, what would you say are some basics or guiding principles for raising, a holistic child, or a child that can then launch into the world independently?
So first of all, we don't have a school that teaches anyone to raise a child. Unfortunately. But some of the basics that you need to know are that, number one, children depend on us fully, 100%. They depend on us. And so if you're talking about them being vulnerable, we either contribute to that or we reduce that. By nature, children are vulnerable. By nature, children are voiceless. By nature, children are dependent on others. If someone is vulnerable, it's your job to make sure that their vulnerability goes down. If someone is voiceless, it's your job to make sure that you give them an opportunity, a platform for them to be able to speak out. Because if you don't, then they will forever be quiet about their situations. If someone is dependent on you, then it is your duty to make sure that whatever it is that they need, whether physical, emotional, or otherwise, you do provide. And so the excitement of just having children, I dare to say that for anyone still excited, tread very carefully. Tread very carefully, because when all is said and done, we are who we are because of where we are raised, and we can't give what we didn't receive.
That's true.
No, you can't pour from an empty cup, can you now? No. So to ultimately answer the question that is there a one-size-fits-all way of raising a child, what would you consider or maybe share with us the most important factors to consider when raising a child?
The most important factors, I would say, are the following. Number one, recognize that you are the compass for your child. And in recognizing that, you can't have a one-size-fits-all kind of approach to raising them. For the quieter ones, you know that you have to be a little more keen on getting to find out what is happening in their space. For the ones that are sanguines, you need to be able to say, okay, calm down a little, but I need to hear Henzo say something. I've heard you, but what I want to hear what he's saying. And then for the average ones, because those can flip to either side, you need to be able to say, okay, the floor is yours. What do you say about this? So the individuality of the children is important for you to recognize. Then the third thing that I would say is the fact that you're not the only one that is responsible for raising. Yes, you have a primary duty, but you need to recognize and have in place a support system, even for you. So the people that have their parents still alive have a good chance to be able to, fall back for themselves as children to those old people, but also those are their reference points. Mommy, your grandson is doing this. How do I go about this? Because they've been there many years before you. They raised you. They raised your brothers. They know. How do I go about this? For your own, you need to build a psychosocial support system for you and your child. Because where you're not able to make headway, a grandma most likely will be able to, or an uncle will be able to, or a grandpa will be able to, or an aunt. And so you need to be able to open up that space. And why are you opening it up? So that your child has all these platforms displayed before them. And if you went ahead to ask them, who is your favorite aunt? Without thinking twice, they would tell you. Who's your favorite uncle? They would tell you. And they will have their reasons why. But if you haven't exposed them to people beyond you and their dad, they will not be able to find those other options to vent out whatever issues they might be dealing with. So that's the other thing. So how do you know that you're doing a good job? For me as a mom, I reference a lot with my own parents, with my siblings, with my friends. So if Manuela meets my son, I know that he will relate with her a certain way, and Manuela will be able to tell me, this thing you need to change. I get a lot of that feedback, especially from my parents and my friends, because I know a parent has nothing to lose. They will tell you, for me, they're probably the only people who will raise my child better than I would, because of their experience, but also because this is close family to them. Then you also have those people like the teachers. They'll tell you, Mami Henzo, you have done a fantastic job doing this. Your son does this. Or I think we need to improve, you're a bit too tough. So the other day the maid did this to him, but he said he said he was scared of telling you, so he came and told me. So referencing with other people is one way. But then also you yourself, when you have the one-on-one with your child, it can't be all tough. You need to, loosen up a bit and say, what are the things that you like about mommy? What are those things? If mommy were to die, my son is at that point where he completely understands what death is. What would you miss about me? And what would be, because you're building a case for him to tell you, him or her to tell you what your areas that need improvement are. So they say, okay, you really like that? Yes. Okay, how would you like me to improve? I'm sure I'm not perfect. I know sometimes I'm a bit too hard. What are some of the things that you'd like me to improve in? My son recently told me, Mommy, you are a terrible teacher. I said, what? He's now 11. Yes. So he said, Mommy, you're not a good teacher. You need to go and you get taught how to teach, like Teacher Joyce, like Teacher Simon. And I took the feedback. It was an ouch. But I took the feedback in good faith. I said, you know what? The way I teach is for adults. It's not for children. That requires a special skill. So the other thing is, when you have an opportunity to learn from mommy, I also expect you to cooperate because I don't have the patience. So those kinds of avenues to be able to hear directly from him. I think for me, if you can hear directly from your child as often as possible, that would be the best, because they are the recipient of your parenting style. They are the beneficiary of your parenting style. So if it's not working for them, then you are probably missing the point. But also my partner. I think for me, my partner has superseded the three. Because the three are family, and my son knows that's family. But him, because he's aware and he makes the deliberate, you know, he's intentional. And he
Yeah.
keeps saying, we are raising this boy, we are raising this boy.
Wow,
Are you
that's
treating mommy
nice.
well? What went well today, what didn't
Yeah.
go well? So they will have their, what they call their boy chat at least 3 times a week, and they're just catching up. So he has passed the test not because we are in a relationship,
Yeah.
but for me that was a determinant for me
Yes.
to accept whether I go on in a relationship with him or not. Yeah, because there's
Brilliant.
no way I'm going to live away from my child.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
so for me those are the people I fall back to. But the point is, identify those male figures. Be sure that you know how you want them to contribute to your child.
Yes.
I said my 3 brothers, each of them brings a different strength. Yeah, there's the one who is just the loving uncle and he dishes out love. He's
Aw.
quiet, but you know, he works up country, but each time he's coming back, he has some little thing and he'll first ask, were you good the last 1 month? What went well? And he said, good job. You
He's
deserve
a
to
good-
get this. Then there is the other one who is about academics, and for him he's very organized, and he cheers him on and says, you know, I'm a medical person, you want to do this, this is how we behave, right from childhood. And then there's the other one who is the disciplinarian. He's the more balanced one of when it's fun, it's fun.
Yeah.
When it's time for seriousness, we are serious.
I like, that's a good
And
balance.
then daddy is everything.
Yeah.
So he calls him
Umbrella, eh.
brother, my brother, how are you today? And he has those things. He does tests with them.
Yeah.
You know, the best way daddy knows how. And he will always give us feedback about each of our children, of he accounts. And he tells you, Helen, there's too much English speaking in your house. We are not white. we need a bit of, and that's feedback.
Yeah.
So when we have our family meetings, which we do every 2 months, each of us, we are 6, we all have kids. It's one of the standard agenda items are the grandchildren. And then they will go, Helen, how's Henzo? The last time we were here, according to the minutes, this is
Wow.
what we talked about. Has he improved?
Wow.
You know, and then we each of us as a parent, you have to account for your child's progress academically, spiritually, you know, in terms of discipline and otherwise. So those reference checks are very important.
Oh, that's amazing. So we know that having a relationship with your child is a great thing,
Yes.
you know, but how can you balance it off, like having a relationship, but also stay with your authority as a parent?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And from my counseling work, I realized that many people struggle.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's easy to fall to the very tough
Yes.
side and not be friendly, or to the
Yeah.
very friendly side and not be,
authoritative.
you know. But the reality is, and for me that's where I come from, life is not about a smooth road all the time. And you're not raising your child for you. You're raising your child for the world.
Yeah.
And for as long as parenting is about raising responsible people for the world, you just have to face the reality. I don't want to raise a child who, when their boss asks for a report, they're going to start saying, oh, you see, boss, I didn't know what to do. You're already late. At this point, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
I need to be able to raise a child who will say, I'm not sure what to do. Could you please give me guidance? Ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I start preparing him for that now. And for as long as that's a reality, I need to know that where he's going on to next, be it in his high school or university, nobody's going to be mumming him around. Nobody. If a lecturer wants his assignment done, it has to be done. He's not going to reason. He gave you a month to do the assignment, do it, hand it in, wait for your results. So as a parent, it has more, for us to be able to do balancing, it's more to do with us learning and acknowledging some realities about life. And for as long as we hone in on those realities, inevitably we'll have to work towards them, but also equipping ourselves. Surely it would be unbecoming of a parent to just want to move things smoothly. I say this to parents all the time. When you castigate a teacher for administering a punishment to your child for not fulfilling their responsibility as a child, as demanded by the teacher, you're in effect telling them it's okay. Even if you had to castigate the teacher, do it away from your child. Do it away from your child. Because after you have done that in their presence, number one, that teacher will be like, well, I'm done. But also your child will go feeling, well, mommy has my back or daddy has my back. So for as long as you know you can't play mommy and teacher and doctor and boss and everything to your child for the next 100 years, better prepare yourself to be able to prepare them, to be able to play well in that field, whichever sphere of life they find themselves in.
Oh, wow. Hellen, thank you so much for sharing. We all know this is a topic that we can talk about and go on and on and on, because parenting is a journey that never ends. It doesn't stop, so we can go on. Do remember to share with us on our social media platforms how you're raising your children, what's helping you, what we can do better. Click and like our pages. Follow us on YouTube. Kampala Serena Hotel hosts brunch every Sunday at 110K for adults and 65K for children ages 5 to 12 years. Do come and enjoy cool meals with your loved ones. Until next time, with love from Bump Live.